Hello, and thank you for tuning in to this episode of Animals and Ames. My name is Ron Edwards. I'm the Animal Control Supervisor here for the Ames Animal Shelter and Animal Control Program. And it is raining kittens here at the Ames Animal Shelter. I have four siblings that came into us. They were a request from one of our agencies to transfer them in. Unfortunately, they were out of space and were not able to keep the kittens, so they called us to save them. If we were not able to take them in, these guys probably wouldn't be with us today, so very proud that we were able to step up and help these guys. As you can see, they're very playful little kittens. They're all four brothers and sisters. The four that we have here today, this is probably a little bit too much to do all at once. The four that we have today is Lyra, Cassiopeia, Orion, and Andromeda. And I'd have to look at them much closer to figure out which one is which. But these four kittens came into us again as a transfer from a partner agency. They are available for adoption now. We do have to wait until they reach 2 pounds. Before they're going to be able to go to their new home and be spayed and neutered first. But as you can see here, they are just adorable kittens. We are looking and hoping that people would consider adopting too, so these siblings can stay together. They're going to eat the microphone here. Because it's always good for them when people are at work or at school for them to have some companionship and someone to be around and play with when people are not around. So if you're interested in adopting 2 of these, we do have special adoption programs to try and get them adopted together. But how could you just say no to these faces? These are just the cutest things in the world. Really sweet kittens. Of course, they have all their claws. They'll be spayed or neutered before they go home. They'll have their initial vaccinations. They'll need to have their rabies vaccinations when they're 4 months old. But we want to make sure that they keep their claws, and to do that we help adopters by providing free nail trims for life. So for the rest of these kittens' lives, you could bring them in here to the shelter and we'd be happy to trim the nails for you. And they're going to climb all over me. But they are just absolutely great little kittens, beautiful markings here. So if you're interested in them or some others, come on down to the shelter. We'd be happy to introduce you to them and show you just what great kittens they are. And we'll have some other ones on the show as well. So come on down and meet these guys here at the Ames Animal Shelter. And our next 2 kittens today is Teegan over here, which is the orange tabby, and Velma. I always like the microphone. And Velma, who is this dilute calico kind of tortie here, more of a tortie. Teegan here came in as a stray. He's a male. He's already been neutered, and Velma has already been spayed. But they are available for adoption right now. They came in separately. I'm noticing here that Velma's a little bit bigger. Velma actually was found underneath the car. We had determined that she had got into the car in the city of Boone, drove to Des Moines, and back up to Ames underneath the car. So we went out and, with the assistance of a tow truck company here in town, were able to lift the car up and get underneath the car enough to be able to get her out and rescue her. She was very scared. Obviously, it was a very traumatic situation. We immediately took her to Iowa State University and had vets look at her to make sure that she was okay. And fortunately, where she got in the car, it wasn't a hot area, so it was back towards the rear area, although very close to the exhaust pipe. So she could have really been burned and hurt and may have not even made it. But luckily, she did. So Velma is up for adoption. She's a little bit more on the reserve side compared to Teegan. Teegan wants to go off and play. You see some toys there on the ground and wants to go play. But they're both strays, came into us and no one claimed them, but both are available for adoption now here at the Ames Animal Shelter. So Velma is a female. We're estimating she's probably about 10 weeks old. And Teegan is a boy, and he is about 9 weeks old. And again, both have already been spayed or neutered. They've had their initial vaccinations, and we want to make sure that they keep their claws for all their life, and we'll continue to provide those free nail trims, as I mentioned, with the other kittens. So these are just 2 more of the kittens that we have available here at the Ames Animal Shelter. Keep an eye on our website and you can see additional kittens and other animals that we have available for adoption here at the shelter. And our next set of kittens here today is Wilton, the one that's playing with my hand here, who is this brown tabby and white, and Quimby, who is this kind of a gray tabby. There's some tabby markings in there. I don't know if you can see that real well, but both came into us as strays. And wanted to make a correction. I accidentally said that Teegan was a boy, and Teegan is a spayed female. So the orange tabby that you just saw is actually a girl. And so she's available for adoption here at the shelter. But these are two, they're both males. They've both been neutered and they're ready to go home. And just like all the others, they have all their nails and their claws and have their initial vaccinations. So they're ready to find their forever home. So again, we're trying to look for families that are interested in adopting two. But if you're just interested in one, we'll still love to meet you and your family and have you fill out an application and see if we can get you approved for an adoption. It's a pretty simple process. If you have any questions, just call the animal shelter here and we'll tell you all about the adoption process and how that works. But again, we have here Wilton, this one here with more of the white on it, and then Quimby here. Both males available for adoption here at the Ames shelter. And our final cat today is Astro. We showed you the young end of the spectrum here at the Ames Animal Shelter. Now we have the other end. Astro is just a very, very sweet senior boy. He came into us, he was actually brought in or reported to us from one of the rescue organizations that we work with, Tasia Blue. They had contacted us, and Astro was actually left in a shed in the middle of the heat. And if he wasn't found by those great partners, he wouldn't be with us here today. He was extremely thin. He's probably 12, 15, somewhere in that age range. He has very few teeth, and unfortunately the teeth that he has are so badly infected they need to be removed. So he's not going to have any teeth. So of course he needs to have only wet food. He cannot eat the dry food. But he has put on really good weight since he's been here. He is just a big love, loves the attention. We've got him on a special food now to help with him and give him some quality wet food. But he is just a really sweet cat. And the reason I wanted to bring Astro on today was to talk about, I showed you a lot of kittens that we have available, and we're right in the middle of the kitten season. And we're going to continue to get more kittens as the months go on, the summer months go on. The sad and unfortunate part of that is shelters across the United States are overrun with kittens right now. And in some shelters, to make room for the kittens, they have to say goodbye to the adults. And of course, that is not our policy here. That does not happen at the Ames Animal Shelter. We will keep Astro here as long as it takes. Now, we don't want Astro to stay in the shelter for a year, but if that's what it would take, we would do that for Astro. We want Astro to be in his own home where he can thrive and be part of a family. And show you his good side. So, we're going to keep Astro here until he finds that home that's going to care for him in his golden years and give him all that he needs, all the wet food that he wants, and maintain him and make sure that he does get vet care when needed. But we're going to, and thanks to our donors, we're going to have the rest of Astro's teeth removed and make him to where he's more comfortable and he's not feeling that pain there in his mouth from his infected teeth and gums. Came into us as a stray. We don't know who locked him inside that shed, but we do know that it was deliberately done. And unfortunately, we don't know who that was, but if we did, we would definitely have some words with them, as well as issuing citations for what they did. This is a very sweet cat that does not deserve that, deserves all the love and attention that he can get. And we're going to make sure that the adopter for him can provide that for him. A very sweet cat. He would just stay here all day and just love this petting. He really has no desire to go anywhere as long as he's being loved on. So again, Astro, we're estimating between probably 12 and 15 years old, but still has some energy, has some life to him, and we owe it to him to make sure that he's well cared for in his senior years. So if you're interested in adopting Astro, or so many of the other adult cats that we have, or some of the kittens that we have too, they're all going to be safe here at the Ames Animal Shelter. We'd love to introduce you to these special guys and see if one will fit into your family. Thank you for watching this episode of Animals in Ames. Remember, that's just a sampling of the animals that we have available for adoption. Once again, all of our dogs have been adopted, so we don't have any dogs right now for adoption, but that could change as soon as we finish the taping of this show. But we have lots of cats, and we'll continue to have lots of cats well into when winter starts. So if you, a family member, or someone you know, a coworker is interested in adopting, now is the best time to adopt. And not just from our shelter. The Story County Shelter also has some amazing animals for adoption. The Boone Humane Society, Marshalltown, the Animal Rescue League is the absolute largest here in the state, and they get in so many animals. So all shelters need help. So please adopt from a shelter. There's so many great animals there waiting for their forever home, and we'd love to have one in your family. Want to say a special thank you to all of the donors who helped out for Francine. We asked for $2,500 to cover her ear surgeries, which are scheduled for July 21st. And we actually exceeded that goal, and we raised over $2,800 for Francine. So we're going to use that additional money for Francine's friends. So any of the other animals here, like Astro, who needs special medical attention above and beyond what the city of Ames here provides. This is more of the enhanced care that we're doing the fundraising for. So Francine and her friends are going to be well taken care of here at the Ames Animal Shelter. Thank you for watching, thank you for adopting, and for visiting the shelter.